Good evening, class. This is Mrs. Pender Harrison with your How to Be Successful on Your Fahrenheit 451 video. We're going to go ahead and start with your prompt. It's this half sheet of paper. This is assignment number 4.6 in your table of contents. Put your name, and then we're going to go ahead and read through these instructions and start writing your outline for your paper. So, you will plan, write, and revise a literary analysis essay. This means there is no counterclaim, and it's my opinion only, in which you analyze both character and theme in Fahrenheit 451. So all or most of my evidence, all of my evidence should really be coming from the novel, not anywhere else. Your essay will need to be 5 paragraphs total. You cited and integrated evidence from Fahrenheit 451 and academic vocabulary terms in your analysis. These academic vocab terms are things like characterization, probably also theme, in my analysis. So, the prompt. Analyze the shift in Montag's character. I know that this means change. The change in Montag's character. What theme or message does Bradbury reveal through the character's development? You may use the following thesis frame to write your response to the prompt. In the beginning of the novel, Montag is blank, but blank causes him to become blank by part 3. This reveals the theme that blank. So this is a very complicated and complex thesis statement, and I know that my first body paragraph is going to be about Montag's character at the beginning of the novel. My second body paragraph is going to be about Montag's character at the end of the novel. And my third body paragraph will be about the overall theme of Fahrenheit 451. So I have a printed copy of the sample outline that will be on Google Classroom. This is going to be 4.15. You're welcome to print this out ahead of time, but otherwise you're just going to be looking at this on Google Classroom and writing your own outline on a separate sheet of binder paper. So for my introduction paragraph, 3 things in the intro paragraph. At this point, we should really know what those are. The hook, the background information, and the thesis statement. I'm going to skip the hook for now. There's a lot of different ways that I could start my my essay, and sometimes it's easier to skip that and come back to it at the end. So, with the outline in front of me, I'm going to go ahead and skip the hook for now. I'll come back to it. The second thing I'm going to write is my background information. I'm going to summarize the plot of the novel in 1 to 2 sentences. I might write something like, in the novel, Fahrenheit 451, do not write F451 in your essay. I'm going to use shorthand for my outline. Ray Bradbury tells the story of Guy Montag, who, and then you're going to go ahead and finish that sentence, right? What does he do? Give me one other sentence of what happens in the story. The third thing I'm going to write is my thesis statement. So everybody's can have the same thing written for their thesis statement at the start. So in the beginning, of the novel, Montag is, and I'm going to write an adjective here. Could be funny, could be suspicious, could be a leader, a follower. But I'm going to describe him in an adjective, maybe 2, at the beginning of the novel. And then comma, but, and then I'm either going to write a character's name like Clarice or Faber or Mildred. Something happens to the character, and it could even just be the more he reads, but blank causes him to become, and then I'm going to give a second adjective that describes him at the end of the novel by part 3. Semicolon. This reveals the theme that blank. So this is my frame for my thesis statement. So one of the many ways I could finish this thesis statement is that in the beginning of the novel, Montag is obedient, right? He follows the rules, but meeting Clarice causes him to become rebellious by part 3. This reveals the theme that literacy literacy leads to independent thought. Okay. Or I could write literacy is fundamental to independent thought. I could write that in the beginning of the novel, Montag is obedient, but reading causes him to become rebellious by part 3. This reveals, I might change meeting Clarice to reading. I seem to like that better. Right? So then my first body paragraph outline is done. Whoops, I mean, this is the outline of my introduction paragraph. Now we're going to do a body paragraph very quickly. So I'm going to abbreviate body paragraph number 1. This is going to be about Montag at the start of the novel. Okay, so my topic sentence for this body paragraph is going to be something about how Montag is obedient at the beginning. So I might say something like, at the start of the novel, Montag follows the rules of his society. My next piece of my body paragraph is the context and the evidence. If I have a characterization chart and quote log complete, then this becomes really easy. I can start by saying, by just including this context and the quote with citations. So I can either number this quote so that I don't have to come back to it, or I could rewrite it out here. I can write Montag responds to Clarice, no, houses have always been fireproof. Take my word for it. Then I'm going to come back with my 2 pieces of analysis. What does this show us about Montag, specifically his characterization? Then I'm going to find another piece of evidence here that's going to support the idea that Montag follows the rules of his society. So one of the quotes that I also might use here is that his hands were the hands of some amazing conductor, right? This is the quote from the novel. And then it reveals that Montag loves his job. He enjoys being a fireman, and he's not a rebel yet. You are going to do this 3 times, 3 different body paragraphs, and then you're going to write your conclusion for homework on Thursday night. Good luck.